If you're thinking about starting a smart home in 2026, it can be difficult to know where to begin. You've got Apple Home, Alexa, Google Home, Matter, Thread, Hubs, Bridges, and hundreds of different products, all claiming to make your home smarter. But starting a smart home doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to spend thousands of pounds, and you definitely don't need to make everything in your house smart. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I'd start a smart home from scratch in 2026. We'll look at choosing your platform, the things you actually need, the first products I'd recommend buying, and how I'd turn those individual devices into an actual smart home. And because my own smart home is built around Apple Home, that's the platform I'm going to concentrate on. And if you enjoy smart home content, consider subscribing. I'll be sharing more of my smart home and the latest products I'm testing. Before buying anything, I think it's worth asking what actually makes a home smart, because being able to turn a light on from your phone isn't really the end goal. You've essentially just replaced a light switch with an app. For me, a smart home becomes genuinely useful when devices start working together and everyday things happen automatically. Walk into a room and the lights come on. Leave the house and everything you don't need turns off. Your blinds close at sunset, or your robot vacuum cleans while nobody's home. The aim isn't to constantly control your smart home. Ideally, you should have to interact with it less and less. And that's the approach I'd use when deciding what to buy. The first big decision is choosing the ecosystem that's going to bring everything together. For most people, that's probably going to mean Apple Home, Amazon Alexa, or Google Home. There's also a Home Assistant, which gives you a huge amount of control and customization. But if you're completely new to smart homes, I'd probably start with one of the mainstream ecosystems first. For me, that's Apple Home. And I'm not saying Apple Home is automatically the best choice for everybody. If your house is already full of Amazon Echo devices, for example, Alexa might make more sense. But my family already uses iPhones, Apple Watches, Apple TVs and HomePods. So Apple Home fits naturally into devices we already own. I've got one home app where I can control products from different manufacturers, create scenes and automations, use Siri, and features like Apple HomeKey mean I can even unlock compatible smart locks using my iPhone or Apple Watch. So if you're already heavily invested in Apple's ecosystem, I think Apple Home is a really good place to start. But before you start buying smart devices, get the foundations right. And the first one is something that often gets overlooked: your home network. You don't need an expensive network setup, but you do need a reliable coverage around your home. If you've already got areas where your phone constantly uses Wi-Fi, filling that area with connected devices probably isn't going to improve things. For Apple Home, I'd also recommend having a Home Hub. That's going to be a compatible Apple TV or HomePod. Your Home Hub allows your smart home to handle things like automations and remote access when you're away from home. And it's also required for adding Matter accessories to Apple Home. And that brings us on to two terms you're going to see a lot when shopping for smart home products in 2026: Matter and Thread. The easiest way I can explain them is that they're not the same thing. Matter is a smart home standard designed to make compatible products work across different ecosystems. Thread, on the other hand, is how some of those devices communicate. It's a low-power mesh networking protocol that's particularly useful for devices like sensors, lights, and smart plugs. And for Thread devices, you want a Thread border router. In an Apple Home setup, devices such as HomePod Mini, 2nd Gen HomePod, and compatible Apple TV 4K models can provide that functionality. Once you've got those foundations, this is where I'd start spending some money. But start small. I think smart lighting is one of the easiest ways to get into a smart home. It's relatively inexpensive, it's easy to understand, and you'll immediately see the benefit. And you don't necessarily have to spend loads of money. IKEA, for example, has some really affordable smart home products, including lights and sensors that can be integrated into Apple Home. So I'd probably start with one smart light, then I'd add a motion or presence sensor, because this is where that light suddenly becomes much more useful. Instead of opening the Home app every time you walk into the room, your sensor can turn the light on for you. I'd probably add a smart plug as another early purchase. They're inexpensive, easy to set up, and can add smart control to certain devices you already own. But at this point, I'd actually stop buying things, because before adding another 10 smart devices, I'd learn how to automate the ones I've already got. And for me, this is the point where a collection of smart devices starts becoming a smart home. Take that light and motion sensor. You could create a basic automation that says, when motion is detected, turn the light on. But once you've got that working, you can make it more useful. Maybe during the daytime, the automation doesn't need to do anything. During the evening, motion turns the light on at full brightness. But if someone walks into that room in the middle of the night, perhaps the same light only comes on at 20%. Now you're telling your smart home what to do. Open a door and turn on a light. At sunset, turn on your outdoor lighting. When the last person leaves the home, everything turns off. I've already made a dedicated video showing some of the automations I use around my own home, so I'll leave that linked if you want some more ideas. Don't make something smart just because you can. This is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I'd give anyone starting a smart home. The best smart home products I've bought are normally the ones that disappear into the background. I don't want to think about controlling them. I want them to quietly do their job. So look at things you repeatedly do around your house every day. If you're constantly turning the same light on and off, automate it. If you close the same blinds every evening, maybe that's something worth automating. Build your smart home around solving those little problems rather than collecting smart gadgets. Once you've got the basics working reliably, then I'd start considering some of the bigger upgrades. A robot vacuum is a good example. Mine cleans automatically, so that's one less household job I have to think about. Then you've got smart locks. I've been using the Akari U200, and having Apple HomeKey means I can unlock my door using my iPhone or Apple Watch. Beyond that, you've got things like garage door controllers, thermostats, cameras, and video doorbells. These products can cost considerably more than a smart bulb or sensor, so I wouldn't rush into buying them, and one at a time where they actually solve a problem or make something you already do every day easier. So if every smart home device in my house disappeared tomorrow and I had to start again, this would be my plan. First, make sure I've got reliable Wi-Fi throughout the house. Choose my platform, for me, Apple Home. Add a compatible Apple TV or HomePod as my home hub. Then I'd buy one smart light and one sensor. I'd create a useful automation between these two devices and live with it for a while. Then I'd start expanding room by room, and only after I've got those foundations working reliably would I start looking at the expensive upgrades like locks, blinds, robot vacuums and cameras. Because you don't need 50 devices to have a good smart home, I'd rather have 10 devices that work together and genuinely make my life easier than 50 devices that I constantly have to control myself. So that's how I'd start Apple Smart Home from scratch in 2026. If you're just getting started, let me know in the comments what your first smart home purchase is going to be. And if you've already got a smart home, I'd be interested to know which platform you've chosen and the one device you now couldn't live without. I've also got videos covering my complete smart home setup, Apple Home automations, smart locks, robot vacuums and plenty more. So have a look through the channel if you want to take your setup further. If you found this video useful, consider giving it a like, leaving a comment about your smart home journey and subscribing for more smart home content. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, if it isn't broke, don't fix it.